Welcome to the very first episode of Arjun's Gregarious Gastronomy. I'm your host, Arjun Gowda. Today we're going to be cooking pineapple, white chocolate and coconut crumble slice. So let's get straight into it, shall we? Okay, so we're going to start with 1.5 cups of self-raising flour, 1 cup of packed brown sugar, 1 cup of almond meal. Now to get 1 cup of almond meal, you will need to process about 100 grams of almonds in a food processor. Alright? 1 teaspoon of ground cinnamon, and 1/2 cup of shredded coconut. Alright, so we just combine that in a food processor on a fairly low speed. Alright, so that's all mixed, so we're just going to stop that now. Now to this, we're going to add 185 grams of margarine. Now, you can also use butter for this, but I'm using margarine. Alright. Now mix this on a low speed until a crumbly mixture forms. So what we are left with is a fairly crumbly dough. So now we're going to put that in a tray to cook. Okay, so here I've got an 18 by 18 centimeter square tray, and I've just put some baking paper in it. Now we have to put in 3/4 of the mixture we just made. So as you can see, I've got 3/4 of the mixture in the tray. I'm now going to smooth that into a base. Alright, so I've smoothed that into a base. Now the original recipe didn't have coconut in it. I added that in for my own personal touch. And also the original recipe used walnut meal instead of almond meal. So as you can see, you can pretty much use any nut you like for the base. Though I wouldn't recommend peanuts because they can really detract from the flavour. Okay, so now we're going to put this into a 180 degree oven for about 15 minutes, or until it's lightly browned. Okay, now for that other bit of mixture we had left over, I put some cling wrap here. We're just going to put that last quart of mixture onto the middle of this cling wrap here. Alright, now we're just going to wrap that up. So we've got a nice ball of that mixture. Now, you need to put this into the freezer, and we're going to come back to it later. So while that cooks, we're going to make the filling. So start by adding 125 grams of cream cheese, 1/3 cup of Castor Sugar, and 1 teaspoon of Orange Rind. Then blend that together. Alright, so that's pretty much finished. The orange actually gives it a very intense smell, which is really delightful. Alright, let's stop that there. Okay, so now that that's done, we're going to go check on the base. Alright, so I've taken the base out of the oven, and I've left it to cool for about 10 minutes. You will notice that the base is actually slightly undercooked, but that's fine because we're going to be cooking it again anyway. Alright, so what we're going to do is, we're going to put that cream cheese mixture on the top. And we're just going to spread that over evenly. Alright, so that's fairly even over the top. Now we need to decorate it. So, what I'm going to start with is about 300 grams of sliced pineapple. So just sprinkle that over evenly. Alright, so that's done. Now the original recipe actually had blueberries on the top, but I've changed that to pineapple, just because that's what I like. Now what I'm also going to add something extra is some white Choc-Bits. I've got about 1/3 of a cup of white Choc-Bits here, so I'm just going to sprinkle that over the top. Okay, so that's finished. Now you've seen the coconut, you've seen the pineapple, and you've seen the white Choc-Bit. Now for the crumble bit of the recipe. So what you do is you take that frozen ball of dough out of the freezer, and you just grab a grater, and you just grate it over the top. Like so. Alright, so I've grated that over the top. Now this is ready to go in the oven. Now just quickly, you don't have to use pineapple and white Choc-Bits if you don't want to use that. You can use any combination of any sort of fruit or anything else with it. For example, you could put macadamias and bananas, or, cashews and blueberries, whatever takes your fancy. Alright, so now we need to cook that in the oven at 180 degrees for 30 minutes, or until the top's golden brown. So there you have it, pineapple, white chocolate and coconut crumble slice. Now make sure you leave it to cool for 10 minutes after you take it out of the oven, and it's best served cold with ice cream or whipped cream, or you can serve it warm with icing sugar as I've done here.